Let's talk about buying a car. There are some terms that we want to be familiar with. Usually there's something written on the window in yellow marker or paint or something, and that's $41.95 in this case. The down payment is $95. For $95, you can drive away with this wonderful vehicle today. And that means we're going to have to be borrowing some money because we're not paying the whole $41.95, are we? So if we subtract the down payment, that leaves us with $4,100, which would be the amount we would borrow. And in the case of a car, we call that the amount financed. Okay? It's the amount borrowed, it's the principal loan amount. So we're borrowing $4,100. We're going to borrow it over 60 months, and we're going to make these payments. And the question is, how much interest are we paying over 60 months? And actually, the contract that we sign has to tell us the total finance charge, okay? And the finance charge actually includes things like the title search and the insurance and the this and that and the licensing and shipping fees or whatever. But in our case, we're really just going to equate that with the interest. So when they say find the amount financed, we did that by subtracting the down payment from the cash price. That's the amount financed. Now, if they ask us to find the interest amount or the total finance charge, what we do is we say, well, if I pay this much in payments over 5 years, and this is all I'm borrowing, then the difference between those two is how much interest I paid. So we subtract the amount financed from the total payments. So $59.44 minus $4,100, that is going to give us the amount of interest that we pay. So the total finance charge is $1,844. Now, that's a lot of interest to pay. That's an extra $1,800 for that car that we could have paid another $4,100 and driven off with it. And most financial counselors would say it's not usually a good idea to borrow money for a depreciating item. Do cars generally appreciate or depreciate? They depreciate. Unless you're buying a classic car of some kind that they don't make anymore and that collectors want. I remember asking a friend of mine, what's the best car to invest in? This is when I was younger. And he said, well, first of all, you used the wrong word. A car is not an investment, not the car that you drive to work. That's a liability. It's basically something that you're going to be throwing money at all the time. So don't look at it as an investment. Look at it as it's an expense. Okay? So it's an expense. And the question is, do I want to pay more than I need to have that vehicle? And the answer oftentimes is, well, you know, I could save up for 5 years and save that amount of money, or maybe it would only take me 4 years, but during those 4 years, what would I do for transportation? I would have to ride the bus or bum a ride off somebody or walk or ride a bicycle. And I would rather pay that extra money and be able to drive that thing while I'm paying for it. So as long as we realize what we're doing to ourselves by borrowing the money, then that's okay. It's not wrong to borrow money. It's just we know we're paying more than we need to. And so most financial counselors would say the cheapest car to drive is the car you own now. Drive that thing, pay it off, drive it until it is no longer feasible, cost-effective to repair it. Okay? And while you're driving it and it's paid for, you're saving money so that then when you need another car, you can sell that, pay cash for something better than what you had, drive that while you're saving money, pay cash for something better, and eventually you're paying cash for all your vehicles. And then you're not spending this interest. And that takes a while to do, but it can be done. Okay, so there's our total finance charge. There's our amount financed. And they also ask us to find the APR. The APR is the annual percentage rate. Annual percentage rate. It is the equivalent of the APY that we talked about earlier. APY is when we're investing. That's our annual percentage yield. A bank or an investment company has to tell us exactly what percentage yield we're going to make. APR, the lender has to tell us exactly what annual percentage rate we're going to pay. So it's a similar law to protect the consumer so that we know exactly how much annual interest we're paying.